Shalom, this is Sophia, the American Mariam, and what we have here is this is a update video on another use for the Black Dove pendulum. Those of you who were fortunate enough to purchase one while they were available for sale, I recently discovered that they actually have another use, and so I wanted to bring that to you. And so this is now. Let me first say, most pendulums have multiple uses, okay? But this one has a very specific use that is activated by the frequencies that the users contain. So, for example, think about all those light codes and stuff that's been coming in from the sun and all of that. Those have been doing different things to us. So, one thing that was revealed to me is that we have the ability to direct certain frequencies. Now, I do not have all the information about how this process works, and all the stuff, but, it is my nature to present the information and then kind of go back and figure out what it all means, right? I do that all the time. So that is one of these things, and I wanted to just put this information out here in case there's someone who's in a dire situation and they really need to have access to this different stuff without buying a bunch of other stuff, because the Gentiles and heathens, they will sell you pendulums that do all of that, will emit these different frequencies, okay? They have one that emits a bunch of different ones, and they use a bunch of different sacred geometry and all that, which is fine. I'm not downplaying or anything what the Gentiles and the heathens have to do in order to access these frequencies. However, we are carriers of the frequency, and so this device, which I told y'all a long time ago was a technology device, I never asked what it did. My fingernail is dirty. It wasn't dirty a minute ago. I never asked what this was for, okay? Let me just set this here. I never asked what these were for. I never did investigation on what the full range, the full scope of this device is. And so if you have one of these devices in the hands of a regular person, it will do nothing. It only works for people who are activated, okay? And so this is the way that could tell if you are activated, authorized to use these different frequencies or not. And me myself, I do not have access to 3 of the frequencies on this board because these are not activated within me. And so that's something that I have to work on to get access to these 3 different bands. So I will share this picture. Y'all can print it out. And especially if you have the pendulums that I made, the black ones, you can see which one, which frequencies you have access to, okay, to control. And so this works as a technology device to point the different frequencies in the number of percentages to different places. You can also numbers, there's a lot of different options on this board, but this board is specifically for this range of frequencies. And the one that I want to talk about specifically is this negative green frequency. Now, if you look up negative, first of all, if you look up these frequencies, you're not going to find a lot. This is a very, very hush hush technology. This is a very, very hush hush thing. They're not talking about this. A sister brought this information to my attention and, said that I should look into it. And I was like, I'll get around to it. I don't care about this stuff. And of course, it's the exact thing I should have been looking into, but it wasn't quite time for me to start looking into it yet. So one thing I can say about me is you got to stay on top of me with information. I will get to it, but it's got a click in my spirit why I need it. So the frequency we're going to talk about is this negative green here. And on the one that I post, I'm going to try and put brown in here so y'all will understand. When you see this on a color wheel, if you were to look at this on the frequencies on an actual wheel, right, they have the green across from the negative green across from the green, right? But what's the opposite of green? I mean, just think about this. What is the opposite of green? Is it negative green or is it brown? And so now you have, again, another corner piece. Why would they call something negative green? What's the inverse of green? If look at the crop circles. I mean, this is what made me think of this. If you look at the crop circle video I posted, it has one that was green and one that was brown. The opposite of green is brown. So why they call it negative green, I don't know, but I will be referring to it as the brown frequency. And of course, brown, melanin, they don't want you to know the frequency is in you, especially, if you are, melanated, obviously, then you'll have access to this negative green frequency just as being a part of you. So anyway, I'm just going to demonstrate how I have been tuned into this frequency. So I try to line up the thing with the middle, and it looks like the middle for me. I say, of course, shalom, shalom. Can you please tune to the frequency of negative green? Can you please tune to the frequency of negative green? And as you can see, it's pointing to the negative green. And I will say, can you please send love and light to all of my viewers using the negative green frequency to 100%. And then as you can see, it moves across the board to all the different numbers until it gets to 100%, and then it's done. Thank you so much, and I'll set it back down. It's that simple, okay? And if you use a different frequency, you tune into that frequency, and you say, ask it to send it to whoever, send it to yourself, whatever you're doing, and then it'll tell you when it gets to 100%, and it's done, okay? That's why I like this board, because you can do everything on this board. You don't have to, my request, that's why I have some papers up here. The people who are going to participate in the petitions, this is one of the things that I'll be doing for you. I have your petitions and the protection, and the ones who are participating, I'll have it written down on a piece of paper, and we'll send the vibration, the frequency to you, stuff that we'll discuss later on in the week. And, this is how I'll make sure that you get what is being sent out, because I can confirm with my pendulum. So if you have a black dove pendulum now, as I mentioned, I didn't know that this was a technology device. So I'm sure more uses will come up. This is not the end of the uses, but this is definitely something that we can use to send certain frequencies to different people, places, things. And I'll just give you one example that I've done that I know that this is working. So one of the frequencies that I have been sending to myself, if you remember, I had done a little meditation video on the grab avoid numbers, and the one that I used was the 5207418, and that's the I am infinitely and divinely united with unexpected treasure. So I've been sending that frequency to myself. I started on Sunday, and then Monday night, I was able to do a trade where I unexpectedly made like 700 times what I put in, basically 696% increase in what I invested. And so that is something that happened out of the clear blue sky, and a few other things happened, but that's the one I think is okay to share. So I know that this works. I know that this is something that we have access to, and so I just wanted to I thought it would be right to share another level of now this doesn't, again, if you do not have access to these frequencies, this is just a pendulum. It might give you yes or no answers. That's it. So it's on an individual basis. This is a smart device. It knows the user. It's connected to me as the maker. And so it's not going to let any, random person just get access to it and be able to use it as a technology device. Only the people who have authorization and access have the ability to use this device in this manner. Everyone else is just a regular pendulum, which may or may not even work for you, period. So that's, I'm telling y'all, I'm telling people now, these things come available. Don't think you're going to order this thing and somehow you're going to be able to do all of this stuff. No, no. And as I get more information about the frequencies and whatever, there's a class that I'm going to have to take. I will let you all know how we can also use these frequencies for healing. But in the meantime, you can look this stuff up. I've shared some information on it that I have found, but you know, there's a lady on YouTube. Her name is Intuitive Dowsing. You might want to head over there. She talks a lot about the frequencies. I haven't really been able to get through a lot of her videos because of the accent, but people who want to learn about this, some limited information is out there. This is something that the Gentiles have been and the heathens have been keeping very close to the vest. They do not want us specifically to have access to this information. So I did just want to share that. This is how I am using this technology device. And as more uses become available, I will let you all know. So shalom, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.